Welcome back to Machine Learning Applied. This is part 2 on the Multimedia Generative AI mini-series, and this one is on videos. VO3, Sora, Runway, Kling, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion. And I'll talk some about workflows here in terms of video-to-video workflows, but I will discuss the workflows for the whole shebang, the end-to-end multimedia project, in the next episode, like long-form video movies and short-form video advertisements. In that episode, I'll also talk about audio generation with Udio, Suno, and 11 Labs, as well as prompt engineering, both for images and videos. So this episode is specifically about video generation. Like I mentioned in the last episode, if you want a quick way to start experimenting with images or videos, go to my blog, look for the prompt generator post, and you can type in sloppy prompts and have them enhanced for the tool you're using, like VO3 or Kling, because prompt engineering is really important. So before I get to recording the episode, if you want to start experimenting, you will want to have some good prompts to run through these tools. Now, AI videos. I know you've all seen those VO3 videos in the wild, Bigfoot vlogs, glass cutting ASMR. They are absolutely stunning. We are here. This is no longer the future, it is the present. I've shown my friends and family VO3 videos, and they have a hard time distinguishing between real and fake at this point. I think people who've seen enough AI videos knows the tells. There's a certain tinny sound in VO3 speech, and they tend to often look surprised or bug-eyed, and then they often laugh at the end of the clip. And of course, there's the 8-second limit. So anytime you see something stitched with 8 seconds to get, but all that aside, like, things are really good. This is no longer an experimental domain. This is now a business usable set of tools that could potentially be used for a real movie, at least in certain ways in 2025. So let's get into it. So the market has 4 sort of categories of these tools, each with different capabilities. And we'll start with VO. It is its own category. Google VO3. Google VO3 is the leader in quality and integrated workflow. The go-to, the catch-all. If you just want to pick a tool off the shelf, it's going to be VO3. It's the current market leader because of its visual quality, physics simulation, and most importantly, its integrated audio generation. VO can generate video and synchronized audio together, and this removes the major step of post-production. And it can generate videos in 4K resolution and accurately follow prompts that include cinematic terms like time-lapse and aerial shots. And so it's very suitable for professional work that requires high technical quality. Their main advantage is the connection to other products like Gemini and Google Cloud, and especially YouTube. The feedback loop from YouTube's huge library gives Google a massive amount of training data, and this allows them to improve their models faster than competitors. That's why their videos are so good, is because their training data is the biggest platform of video training data on the planet, and that includes audio and voice and so forth. It is also, incidentally, I think, why we tend to see a lot of influencer style videos in what's being put out there on YouTube, generated by VO3. You see a lot of sort of selfie stick carrying characters talking in Gen Z language. I don't think that's an accident. I think it might have something to do with a dominance of training data on YouTube. Google has a platform called Flow. It's a filmmaking tool for creative professionals, and it shows Google's focus on the professional market. So you can generate videos through Gemini Chat by clicking the video button before hitting submit, but it's more highly recommended to use their dedicated video creation platform, and it's called Flow. And it just has a little bit more bells and whistles for extending clips and using starting frames and modifying inputs and outputs. The next cluster of tools is Sora and Kling. So OpenAI Sora and Kuaishou Kling, Kuaishou Kling. Sora and Kling are the only 2 platforms that can challenge VO in raw video generation quality, and they each have different strengths. Sora is very good at understanding natural language, like you saw with GPT-4o in the last episode. It's built into OpenAI's language understanding DNA. It can generate highly imaginative and complex narrative scenes that other models find difficult to interpret. Its integration into ChatGPT gives it a large distribution channel and an easy entry point for lots of users. Sora has in-video editing tools like Remix, Recut, and a storyboard feature that lets users create a multi-shot sequence with consistent characters. But its current maximum resolution is 1080p, and it doesn't have native audio generation, and so this puts it behind Google Veo for most professionals who really need a finished product. But in this fast-paced arms race, you never know what OpenAI has up their sleeve. They might make a comeback here soon. Okay, Kuaishou Kling. I just paused the recording and looked up how to pronounce it. Kuaishou. 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 So Kling from the Chinese tech company Kuaishou is a leading tool for specific tasks. It scores highest in independent tests for image to video quality, and it can show complex high-speed motion with a realism that's sometimes better than both Sora and Veo. It's also really good at maintaining character consistency and rendering dynamic effects, which is an advantage for action and animation creators. They've grown a lot in the first quarter of 2025, so its business model is viable and is probably going to continue to be a major competitor in this space. Its main limitations have been text to video. The text to video interface is less intuitive than Sora's, and a market focus that was, until recently, just mainly in Asia. Choosing between Sora and Kling depends on your creative starting point. Sora is better for storytelling, starting with a complex narrative idea, and Kling is better for a visual artist who starts with a specific image and needs to bring it to life with realistic motion. I have seen workflows on Reddit. Anytime somebody puts a video on Reddit and in the description they describe how they went about it, anything more than a simple social media post, which is almost always generated with Veo 3, if it's a longer form project that the creative professional took a bit more seriously, goes longer than a few minutes and there's a high level of character consistency and so forth, they almost always use multiple tools. They don't just use Veo 3. Almost always they do use Veo 3. It's part of their repertoire. But the two I see the most paired with Veo 3 is Kling and Runway, which we'll discuss in a bit. So they have strengths and weaknesses. So pay attention to some of these advantages that we're discussing here. Kling's being starting with a specific image and bringing it to life with realistic motion. So the next category of tools are tools that are best for control and customization. They are more editing studios or pipelining tools than they are necessarily just video clip generators. And these include Runway and Stable Diffusion. So this tier of tools is defined by control, customization, and integration, and it makes them essential for technical professionals. Runway is an integrated creative suite. The Gen 4 models do produce good results, but the platform's main value is in its full set of AI magic tools, a timeline video editor, and features like motion brush and director mode. It's the best choice for professionals who need to generate, edit, and finish their work in one place. Runway is especially good at video-to-video transformations, stylization, and detailed in-shot changes, like altering specific objects with a text prompt. And this offers it a level of direct control that other models don't have. Stable Diffusion is an open source ecosystem. We talked about that in the last episode. But it also includes Stable Video Diffusion and Animate Diff. It gives the most control to users who are willing to learn technical node-based interfaces through comfy UI. And its strength comes from its open source nature, which has created a large community that develops custom models, LoRa's, and control nets. We talked about, if you need to know about LoRa's and control nets, listen to the last episode. These can be tuned for very specific tasks, like ensuring perfect character consistency and creating specific visual effects elements, visual effects, VFX. It's the best choice for VFX artists and technical animators who need to add custom AI elements into a traditional production pipeline. Its main weakness is its steep learning curve. So if your whole world is churning out videos, then Stable Diffusion and Comfy UI is going to be a part of your pipeline. If you work in Hollywood, you're going to want to know Stable Diffusion. Niche tools for specific tasks, image animation, and corporate avatars. So these tools are best at one specific task. They usually outperform the general platforms in this one area of focus. Mid-Journey video. So this is the most interesting. If you've seen Mid-Journey videos, they are really good. And you might think that they're better than VO3, that Mid-Journey videos might compete against VO3. That's not so. Mid-Journey videos aren't a full end-to-end sort of action animation dialogue experience. They generate animations of a still image. They call this ambient videos or ambient animations. Imagine like an ocean wave crashing on the shores or a person walking in motion. There's sort of a clip of something in motion. Mid-Journey video is an extension of the world's best AI image generator. It's by far the best tool for animating a static, high-quality image for image-to-video tasks. It does an excellent job of maintaining the aesthetic of a Mid-Journey image while adding motion. But it's only an image-to-video tool with limited motion controls and no text-to-video features. It should be seen as a powerful animator for its own images. And then there's avatar platforms like HeyGen and Synthesia, Synthesia. They're not for artistic videos. They are built for creating corporate or marketing videos at large scale. These platforms are excellent at creating realistic talking avatars, cloning voices accurately, and translating video content into many languages while keeping the lip sync correct. They solve a business need for a scalable, personalized communication and training content. So let's compare these tools up against each other head to head. By the way, if I seem out of breath in this episode, it's because I'm recording it at a treadmill desk. Aristotle, Nietzsche, Kant, and Thoreau all believed walking was essential to thinking. Nietzsche said only thoughts reached by walking have value. So I use a walking desk while I study, record, edit, or work. It improves focus, energy, alertness, and mood by increasing blood flow and endorphins. You should try one too. Meet your fitness goals while you study machine learning or work on your ML projects. See a link to my favorite walking desk setup at ocdevel.com/walk. That's ocdevel.com. So let's compare these tools up against each other head to head. Direct evaluation on certain professional metrics. For photorealism and visual fidelity, Google VO3 is the winner. VO3, especially when generating 4K, can produce more believable detail, lighting accuracy, and texture than its competitors. Its physics simulation results in motion and environmental interactions that feel more realistic. Sometimes Sora and VO are said to be world models or world simulators with some insinuation that they're not just frame generators, but deep inside the model, they have some concept of physics and reality. And that's why they can produce such realistic results. Kling is a close second for photorealism and visual fidelity, especially with human subjects. Kling often produces highly realistic 1080p results that are hard to tell apart from real footage. And as we go through all this, do note, we talk about the resolution that's generated by these videos like 1080p and 4K. Do note that there are tools for upscaling videos. So don't let resolution output necessarily be a make or break feature in choosing across these products. Sora, in terms of photorealism and visual fidelity, produces beautiful cinematic visuals, but can sometimes have a slightly illustrative or AI-generated look. So it makes it a little less purely photorealistic than VO. And Runway is a clear step below the top three in raw photorealism. Its outputs can sometimes look grainy, less detailed, or have minor visual errors. The difference is likely due to quality and scale of training data. Google's access to YouTube's huge high-resolution video library gives it a very big advantage in capturing small details in real-world light and texture. Now let's talk about character and object consistency. Kling and Sora have a slight edge because of their purpose-built features. Kling is really good at maintaining a character's appearance during complex and high-speed motion, which is a common weakness in AI video. Sora's storyboard feature is designed to solve the problem for narrative work, and it lets users define a character in one shot and have the model maintain that character across the following shots. And Midjourney's video feature also maintains consistency really well in its short clips because it's starting from an image frame. Now, Veo 3 is also strong for character consistency, especially in its flow tool, but it can sometimes show small inconsistencies in longer generations. True long-form consistency, minutes I'm talking, not seconds, is a weakness of Veo 3. And so the most successful platforms are the ones that provide user-facing tools that enforce character consistency. So if you want to achieve character consistency in tools that don't have it baked in, you'll want to start with images first, like with Midjourney or GPT-4o, and iterate on that image using text prompt modifications as starting frames for video clips. Next up, we have adherence to complex prompts and directorial control. So Veo 3 and Runway are the leaders, but for different reasons. Veo 3 has better understanding of specific cinematic and physical instructions given in natural language. It accurately interprets technical terms like time-lapse and dolly zoom and slow push-in directly from the text prompt. Runway, on the other hand, provides the most explicit user interface control rather than necessarily text to video control. It has UI controls in its tool set. Tools like the motion brush and director mode, these let users manually paint motion paths and define camera movements directly on a scene. So this offers it hands-on control that other platforms lack, which is another reason why Runway is great as a video editing software studio. Sora is excellent at interpreting creative and emotional language to set a mood, but it's less precise with technical commands, especially camera commands. And for Kling, it's more focused on the physics of motion than it is on camera direction or other aspects of videography. So all this shows a key difference in design. There's control by language, which would be Veo and Sora, and then there's control by interface, which would be Runway. And professionals need both. Veo is faster for creating initial ideas, and Runway is better for the detailed adjustments required in production. So I will have everything I just discussed as a table in the show notes for this episode. So we've got, the S tier, the A tier rankings, across all the tools based on photorealism, consistency, prompt adherence, directorial control, and then integrated audio. The only one is Google Veo. Veo 3 is the only one with sound effects and dialogue. So go to the show notes for these comparison tables. There's a few of them, comparing them on feature sets and use case goals and so forth. Okay, those are the tools. Let's go through a bunch of workflow examples, and I think this is going to help you to decide which tool ultimately or which multiple tools you want to use for your particular use case. Example number one, a cinematic shot with Google Veo and Flow. So the goal is to create a polished 8-second 4K shot of a futuristic car in a neon city with engine and rain sounds. So step one is open up Google Flow, their platform on the Gemini app. Don't use Gemini Chat, use Google Flow. Enter a detailed prompt that includes visual, cinematic, and audio instructions. So here's a little bit of prompt engineering, but we'll save real prompt engineering for the next episode. The prompt would be cinematic wide-angle tracking shot of a sleek silver futuristic car driving through a rain-slicked street in a neon-lit cyberpunk city. Reflections of blue and pink neon signs on a wet asphalt. Add realistic engine hum and the sound of heavy rain. Step 3 is VO3 model generates the video and a synchronized audio track at the same time. And step 4 is that the result is a single MP4 file with high resolution video and the specified soundscape ready for use. So the main point is that the VO3 workflow is efficient. Its strength is its ability to interpret a complex cinematic and audio instruction in a single step, and it requires little to no post-production. So VO is the go-to for quick, get a job done. If you're doing advertising or short forms on Instagram, TikTok, and so forth, it does everything for you. Example 2, a narrative sequence in Sora. So we want to create a 3-shot film noir scene. 1 is the close-up of a detective with a clue, 2 is a wide shot of his office, and 3 is the detective leaving. So you'll access Sora through the ChatGPT Plus or Pro interface. You'll select the storyboard option, and this is a feature for building multi-shot scenes. And then you'll write a prompt for the first shot, which might look like extreme close-up of the tired eyes of a 1940s film noir detective. He's looking down at a small, mysterious locket in his hand, moody, low-key lighting. And then you'll write a prompt for the second shot, asking for continuity. The same detective, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll write a prompt for the third shot. The detective puts the locket in his pocket, blah, blah, blah. And then Sora will process the entire sequence, trying to keep the consistent character and style across the shots. The final output is one continuous MP4 file that contains all 3 shots. So Sora's workflow is built for storytelling. The storyboard interface helps users think in sequences, making it the best choice for creating short narratives and film concepts. Example number 3, a high action scene in Kling. We want to animate a static image of a dragon, making it breathe fire and fly towards the camera. So Kling is about animating photos. So the first step is to generate a high quality image of a dragon using a tool like Midjourney. Then we go to Kling, either on its website or through an app like captions.ai. You'll upload the dragon image as the starting frame. You'll select professional mode so you can get the 1080p output. And then you'll write a prompt that focuses on motion and physics. That's your goal with Kling, is focusing on the action taken upon the photo. So that prompt might be, the dragon roars, breathing a torrent of fire. It then leaps from the cliff, flying directly towards the camera with powerful wing beats, high motion, dynamic camera shake. The prompt should use action verbs more than scene descriptions. Optionally, you can use Kling's motion brush tools to specify which parts of the image should move the most, like the wings, and which parts should stay static, like the cliff. And it will result in a 10-second clip, and this will showcase Kling's ability to create really believable, high-energy motion from a static image. So Kling is best for image-to-video animation, and it can take static art and add dynamic physics and action, and it makes it ideal for artists who have a specific image they want to bring to life. Now let's continue with some more examples, but let's start mix and matching some of these tools. Building multi-agent software is certainly hard. Agent-to-agent and agent-to-tool communication often feels like the Wild West, making it difficult to achieve accuracy and consistency in these non-deterministic agentic apps. That's where agency comes in, AGNTCY. Agency is an open source collective focused on building the Internet of Agents. This Internet of Agents acts as a collaboration layer, enabling AI agents to discover each other, communicate effectively, and work together across different frameworks. For developers, this translates to standardized agent discovery tools, seamless protocols for smooth inter-agent communication, and modular components designed to help compose and scale complex multi-agent workflows. You can build alongside other engineers who care about high-quality multi-agent software. Visit agency.org to add your support. That's AGNTCY.org. Now let's continue with some more examples, but let's start mix and matching some of these tools. So workflow number 1 is a high-quality animation, and this is going to mix Midjourney with Kling or Runway. So the goal is to create an art-directed animated short by using Midjourney for the image quality and a dedicated video model for its motion capabilities. Step 1 is keyframe generate an image in Midjourney, and this will be the visual foundation for the animations, including the character sheet and established shots. So for character consistency that we're trying to achieve, you're going to use something called a seed number in Midjourney. You'll use a consistent seed and a style or character reference parameter. You'll use these parameters --sref or --cref. And that will allow you to maintain a cohesive look for your characters and styles and things across multiple keyframe generations in Midjourney. So you'll want to dive into all that stuff offline. Look up how to maintain character and style consistency in Midjourney, because the goal is that we're going to create multiple frames of the same sort of universe and characters within Midjourney. And then step 2 is to animate using either Kling or Runway. You export the images to the video model for dynamic motion, especially for characters. Kling is the best choice because of its leading image to video engine. For scenes that need precise camera movements, use Runway and its director mode for fine-grained control. And then for step 3, upscaling the video. So Topaz Video AI, T-O-P-A-Z. You can run 1080p clips through an AI upscaler tool like Topaz Video AI, and this can increase the resolution to 4K, and it removes artifacts, and it can increase the frame rates to 60 FPS for smoother motion. That's why I said earlier, you don't need to care necessarily about the resolution of the output, because there are third-party tools that can upscale, and in the upscaling improve things, removing artifacts and increasing the frame rate. And then if you're a real, video maker, if this is your world, then you're probably going to do your final editing in real editing software. So you'll import all your clips into an editor like CapCut or DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere Pro, and then you will sequence the shots, you will color grade them, and you'll add audio. And sound effects can be made through tools like 11 Labs, and music can be created through an AI music generator like Suno. We'll talk about those next episode. So this workflow separates image creation from motion creation, and it allows you to use the best tool for each stage. The next example is visual effects compositing using Stable Diffusion and live action. So the idea is that the workflow is for integrating AI-generated elements into a live action footage. It uses the control and customization of Stable Diffusion instead of all-in-one models. So these are the steps. Number 1, shooting. Film a live action footage, they call this the plate, with the AI element in mind. This may involve using tracking markers or a green screen. Number 2 is element generation, using Animate Diff and Comfy UI. So you'll use Comfy UI with the Animate Diff plugin to generate the animated element, for example, an energy blast or a swarm of insects. And then you'll use control nets to guide the animation motion to match the live action plate and generate it with a transparent background or alpha channel. Step 3 is compositing, like Nuke or After Effects. So import the AI element into a program like Nuke or After Effects and layer it over the live action plate using VFX techniques to track, mask, and blend it into the scene. And then finally, color grading. Color grade the entire shot to ensure the AI elements, lighting, and color match the live action footage. The advantage of this advanced workflow is that all-in-one models like Sora and Veo, they have weaknesses for visual effects work, specifically VFX. And professionals need to create a single controllable layer within a shot, not the whole shot. The open source modular nature of Stable Diffusion provides a pixel level control required for professional VFX integration. You can see we're starting to get more and more advanced with these examples. And I mentioned previously that the more you tend towards advanced, the more likely you are to end up in the Stable Diffusion world with Comfy UI and Animate Diff and ControlNet and LoRa. That's the real power tools bazooka for absolute control over style and character consistency and poses. Using the all-in-one tools like Sora and VO3 will give you a video out the gate. Good. If all you care about is a quick video, then that's your guy. And then if you're more on the intermediate side and you want to string these tools together, maintaining the quality of VO3 or mid-journey images as keyframes or Sora, but having a little bit more control over the camera and character motion and so forth, then you might move towards things like Kling and Runway. Kling for characters and Runway for camera motion. And then if you're really advanced and you eat, breathe, and sleep videos, then you'll be living inside of both stable diffusion for controlling the video generation, piecing together all the parts I previously mentioned, and then probably a traditional video editing software suite like Adobe Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve. Okay, the final example workflow here is high volume marketing content. And this is going to combine VO with Runway and Heygen, Heygen. I mentioned that for the avatar creation. So the concept is that this workflow is for creative agencies and marketing teams who need speed, volume, and iteration for A/B testing and social media campaigns. So these are the steps. Step one is concept generation in Google VO3. So you use VO to quickly generate a high quality hero. They call it HERO, concept video for your campaign. VO's photorealism and integrated audio are ideal for creating an initial client-facing version. Step two is variation and remixing using Runway. You'll import that hero clip into Runway, and then you'll use the video-to-video and stylization tools to create dozens of variations. Change aspect ratio, apply different visual styles, and use the erase and replace feature to swap products or backgrounds. Step three is personalized messaging using Heygen. For campaigns needing a direct-to-camera address, use a platform like Heygen to create an AI avatar of a spokesperson, and this avatar can generate hundreds of personalized videos and deliver the script in multiple languages with accurate voice cloning and lip sync. And then step four is deployment and analysis. So deploy the video across different channels and use performance data to see which variation works best. So this workflow allows agencies to test and iterate at scale and speed that would be too expensive and slow with traditional methods. To wrap it all up, the generative AI market, there's three sort of tiers or categories of video generators and video editors. Google VO3 leads in quality and integrated workflow. So in a sense, like Google VO wins for now, July 11th, 2025. For now, VO3 is the champion, but it's unlikely you're just going to use VO3 if you take video editing seriously. You're probably going to combine it with some other stuff. Sora and Kling are the main challengers to VO3, but they appeal to different creative approaches. Sora is for narrative storytelling, and Kling is for animated visuals. And then for power users, Runway and Stable Diffusion provide the control and integration needed for professional work. No single tool is best for every task. The right choice depends on the user's role and their project. The most advanced work combines the strengths of the multiple tools. So let's think about these tools in terms of a user profile, a type of user of these tools and their primary goal. All right, the indie filmmaker. So the primary goal is pre-visualization, storyboarding, and creating short films. They would use Sora primarily or VO3 secondarily. The reason is Sora's storyboard feature is the best tool for narrative construction. VO is excellent for producing final high-quality shots if the budget allows, but Sora's really good at storyboarding. Okay, the visual effects artist. Their primary goal is creating specific animated elements for live action. The recommendation is Stable Diffusion with Animate Diff or Stable Video Diffusion and Comfy UI. Stable Diffusion and Comfy UI offer the layer-based control, custom models, and pipeline integration needed for professional visual effects workflows. The creative agency. The goal is rapid prototyping of ad concepts and social media content. The recommendation is VO3 for hero shots, and then Runway for the editing suite. Runway's editing and variation tools are built for speed and iteration that agencies need, and VO provides the highest quality for the main campaign asset. The social media manager. The goal is creating short-form video content quickly and cheaply. The tool would be Sora, and that's because it's the best combination of quality, ease of use, and low cost for users within the OpenAI ecosystem. You can actually generate Sora clips within ChatGPT on just the Plus tier. You don't have to have Pro or whatever it is, that very expensive tier anymore. You can make a certain number of videos with the Plus tier. The AI artist and animator. The goal is to create unique art-directed animated pieces. The recommended tools are Midjourney with Kling. This is the Midjourney to motion workflow. It pairs the best image generator with the top-tier motion engine for the best aesthetic control. And then there's the corporate trainer or marketer. Their goal is creating training videos and personalized marketing. They would use HeyGen or Synthesia, which are specialized tools for avatar-based video production at scale, offering features like voice cloning and translation. And finally, the thing I sort of left out a lot in this episode is Midjourney video. And again, Midjourney video is for ambient animation of a still photo. Think of it like the Harry Potter newspapers, how they were just animated versions of a character. The Harry Potter newspapers had the image that went with an article, but it would be an animated version of that person, or a train would be coming down the train track blowing out smoke, or a person would be sort of looking left to right. It's really hard to explain, but go to the Midjourney website and see some of the videos to see what I'm talking about. It's called ambient animation, and it's not really for making movies. It's for animating a still photo. So this market is going to evolve really fast. So there's some trends that are happening. There's this concept of pipeline collapse where more and more models are integrating synchronized audio and basic editing like VO3. And this will reduce the need for pre-production, making keyframe images in Midjourney to use as starting frames in an animated clip, and post-production, like having hands-on control over the camera motions, the character motions, and character consistency. And this is putting pressure on models that only produce video clips, which are just silent video. There's a control arms race. So as video quality becomes similar among the top models, the competition is moving from just generating video to user control. So platforms will be adding more sophisticated directorial tools like Runway's Motion Brush or Sora's Storyboard Editor. And the platforms with the most powerful and easy to use controls will come out on top. And there's also a rise of aggregators. So as the number of these specialized models grows, managing them will become difficult. And this creates an opportunity for aggregator platforms like something called OpenArt, which gives users a single interface to access multiple top models. For many professionals, the future is not about choosing one model, but about having easy access to all of them. Some of these new tools, one I saw recently called Remade, it allows you to generate the image frames, do prompt generation, and then pipe those into the video generator. And you can pick from any image generator and any video generator, and it helps handhold through the character consistency and so forth in an all-in-one software suite. Now it adds a premium cost on top of using any of these tools in isolation. So it's up to you whether that's worth it. But I do think that more and more the flagships are going to start integrating the all-in-one tooling with time. And you're starting to see this with VO3, for example. When you click frame to video and you click the plus icon for your starting frame, you can generate an image using Imagen 4 as your starting frame. And then, of course, it has the sound and voice and so forth, and you can extend clips and all that. I got a feeling that eventually they'll start adding some of these motion brush and other UI tools. So that's it for video generation. In the next episode, we'll talk about stringing everything together into a unified multimedia project, including sound and music and voice, as well as prompt engineering. Also, I'm available for part-time work. So if you need a consultant or a contractor, go to ocdevel.com for my professional experience and contact information. Let's work together. You've been listening to Machine Learning Guide, and I'm your host, Tyler Ranelli. MLG teaches the fundamentals of machine learning and artificial intelligence. It covers intuition, models, math, languages, frameworks, and more. It's a start-to-finish audio overview of machine learning principles. Then for topics needing more depth or which are best learned visually, I provide a syllabus of resources at ocdevel.com/MLG. That's ocdevel.com. You'll notice that episode titles start with either MLG or MLA. G for guide teaches theory and fundamentals, where A for applied teaches industry and practical tools. You can listen to either or both depending on your goals. If you want to support the show, like and subscribe in your podcatcher, whether iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube.